he did help me. He didn't actually. 50 never paid nothing that I didn't have to pay back. So
Hmm.
even though he might have, yeah, he did help, I still had to give him that money back. So what he did do, I didn't have,
Right.
and when I did start to have, he made sure he got his back. So
Right.
so the
But that's still helpful.
that's
It's
still
like
very
if
helpful because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have know what to do.
right.
Like I said, I didn't have a lot of knowledge of this. So once I made a few dollars, my first time having to deal with bankruptcy was like, okay. I mean, I'm a full-fledged celebrity. My mother still lived down the street in the projects.
Imagine waking up with your empire in shambles, bankruptcy, tax issues, and a massive debt hanging over your head. That's the reality Young Buck's been living with. Today we're diving deep into the crazy story of how he's slowly but surely digging himself out of a financial hole, all while dealing with the aftermath of his past decisions and those cold hard lessons that come with them. But here's the kicker. While most people would just write it off as a bad chapter in their lives, Buck's story is anything but that. From dealing with IRS raids to the tension-filled relationship with 50 Cent, Young Buck has faced some of the toughest battles in the music industry. He's had his moments of being broke, but now he's taking us behind the scenes of what it's like to actually pay back that kind of debt, step by step, in the surprising way he's been forced to handle it. In today's video, we're going to break down the real struggle, what it took for Young Buck to go from rock bottom to handling financial mess. You'll hear straight from Buck himself about the decisions that led him here and the shocking moments that kept him in the game. It wasn't just about paying back money. It's about survival, lessons learned the hard way, and how his story could change the way we view all celebrity finances. This ain't no fairy tale though. Buck's road to redemption is anything but simple, and there's a lot of twists and turns. Trust me, you won't believe some of the moves he had to make to keep everything from falling apart. Now I'm about to play this clip for y'all, but before I do, I just need you to like, leave your thoughts down below in the comment section, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
Is it true that the 50 stepped up and paid your taxes? Like,
This is my second time having to go through this, but in the first time I dealt with it, he did help me. He didn't actually. 50 never paid nothing that I didn't have to pay back. So even though he might have, yeah, he did help, I still had to give him that money back. So what he did do, I didn't have,
Right.
and when I did start to have, he made sure he got his back. So
Right.
so
but that's still helpful.
that's
It's
still
like
very helpful because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have know what to do.
Right.
Like I said, I didn't have a lot of knowledge of this shit. So once I made a few dollars, my first time having to deal with bankruptcy was like, okay. I mean, I'm a full-fledged celebrity. My mother still lived down the street in the projects. She's got to a point where she didn't want to leave, but now you got the whole neighborhood dropping music off on the porch and stuff like that. I'm all over TV. So once I made a few dollars, bro, my living circumstances was so crazy. And of course, I might have added on a little bit more extra, but the first thing I did was, bought my mom's a house, bought myself a house, and I bought everything I was supposed to and I shouldn't bought. You dig?
Yeah.
So here it is, come the end of the year, I'm damn near broke and relying on other money coming in to get me back together. And then all of a sudden they hit me with this tax thing that was like, what is this?
Right.
So I didn't have knowledge of even what. It's the first time I ever filed taxes in my life, and even then I didn't file them myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was his business accountant. It was a conflict of interest in the beginning. My business accountant was his business accountant.
Right. That umbrella.
That
has a
umbrella
problem.
that I walked into started to be realizing that it was a different problem. My lawyer at the time was hired through his lawyer.
Right.
You understand? So all of us, you know what I mean? So a lot of those things that it wasn't like nobody sitting down and telling me, what was going on. Of course, I did make the decisions, but, I looked at it as if like, this is my opportunity of a lifetime, and I know what I could do and would do and did do with the opportunity. So that was more my focus more than the business. Now looking back on things, if I was to do anything over, it was I would have had more knowledge and
Yeah.
took more time in starting to learn the business like I've had no choice to now.
I mean,
dig?
you were still pretty young during the
Yeah.
whole G Unit days, right? Like
Yeah, I
early
was.
20.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
Early 20s. I came into G Unit in 2002, 2003. I'm 42 now, so y'all can do the math out there right now.
So out of all the beef that you inherited, would you say like the IRS are the biggest gangsters of them all?
I will say they ain't to be fucked with. You know, and like I say, man, my experiences just going through stuff like that. I've you know how your mom says this old saying, a hard head make a soft ass. You know, a hard head definitely does. It's like a lot of things that I did do, I knew I shouldn't have been doing, but instead I had a hard head and did it anyway. Probably kind of like your crazy ass too
Sure.
at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was just one of those things where had to learn the hard way, man. For real. And the IRS is one of the best teachers you can have.
Yeah, because there's nothing you could do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it. And that was I experienced some of the most heartful, hurting things that stuck to my life in regards of dealing with bankruptcy and stuff like that. My first time after, going through all those things, I ended up falling out with 50 during my first bankruptcy. And he pulled everything away from me. And I couldn't make no money nowhere. So I ended up getting resorted into all my stuff being auctioned off. So I woke up one morning and I'm in this mansion and living my life, and then I got the IRS at my door, the raid and they're coming in and taking all my kids' stuff and
so
all of
crazy.
those different things. And in that process, I had a tour manager at the time had left a weapon in my home. You understand? He
And
left
they
a
waited
gun.
8 months.
And they waited 8 months, bro, to indict me on the weapon that I never knew that was there, never touched, no fingerprints. But the fact that the house was in my name, it sent me to federal prison. And
Federal?
Federal prison, man.
So what was
First
your
gun
longest
charge
bid?
in my life. I did like 18 months over there with dealing with that. With that, I went to Yazoo Federal Penitentiary. I started. My first time going to the penitentiary was the low, and that was a real experience for
The
me.
low, you mean low security?
Low security was my first. I ended up going back, but I couldn't understand, I mean, I know numerous people that it's caught numerous gun charges, but for some reason, the DA at that time was so, adamant about sending me to prison and stuff like that, bro. Like,
He was under the 50 umbrella. No,
I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, man, like they found a weapon in the house. I didn't have no knowledge of it. They found a bullet. I used to have security and stuff like that at my crib and stuff. They found one bullet that didn't even match the gun that they found and charged me with a felon in possession of a fire ammunition. Yeah.
Do you think the reason they went so hard on you is because I feel like back then the DA really wanted to like make rappers an example of like when they fuck up.
The DA where? Because that's...
It was in here. It was in Tennessee. The DA actually that prosecuted me in that situation the first time was one of the he has a very, very hard reputation in throughout my city for actually, not playing and really prosecuting individuals. So, I had no knowledge of who he was until I started to deal with that case in itself. And, honestly, he kind of almost scared me into to pleading out. I didn't know what he would do. He was one of those DAs, and I don't know if he still is a DA or what, but he's one of those DAs. It's like, he's gonna get a conviction one way or another if he's on your ass type of thing.
Yeah.
So it was like I had a lot of individuals that I had encountered with, whether it was just meeting, not knowing what they got going on, speaking what up, and he might have seen me on a picture where they watching these individuals and thinking that I'm involved with these folks, but it's like, man, I'm a celebrity. I meet a lot of people, but I don't know what the hell they got going on. And he took it as if like, yes, you do. So his whole thing was about questioning me about, certain things, dealing with certain individuals that I couldn't provide no answers. I didn't even choose to sit down to talk to you. Why am I even going to talk to you about something that I don't know? And once he seen that I wouldn't cooperate in his method of doing whatever he was trying to do, he told me straight up, or told my attorney, you know what I'm saying, that he was going to send me to prison, and he did. And I think I got caught up as well in the middle of a lot of the politics in my city, because at that time, my attorney is now the head of the DA now. So I think a lot of politics and stuff came in regards to, I'm a big fish in a small pond. So that prosecution of me was like, I don't know, and this is just me wishful thinking. I think it was like, I'll give you him if you give me this type of thing. Like, I don't know, man. But hey, I got past that, went through that sentence, got out.
It was 8 months for the gun?
No, 18 months.
18 months for the gun.
In federal prison, yeah.
What's the difference between federal prison and state prison? Like, is there a difference in...
I don't know. I hope I don't find out. I'm actually fighting a situation now, the state. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm totally innocent in that situation. Like I say, you see what I'm saying? They're coming out ready, bro. Like, what's going on, bro? Like, what are they doing? Well, we are in the hood.
Yeah.
But see, ain't that crazy though for me to say that and then weird? But no, honestly, like
He's like, you guys run a wire?
Yeah. But yeah, man, I got out from completing that 18-month sentence, man, and from there I made a decision while I was in prison to actually go back to G Unit. In my mind, I felt like, because I was away from G Unit when I went to prison at that time. Like I say, that played a part of me going to prison, because 50 pulled out, I didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things that once I was in prison, and it's not like I went to prison and was in no PC, protective custody, or none of that. I'm actually walking the yard with, you guys that got 15, 20 years, been there 20, 30 years, and all of this, everything that comes along with prison, I experienced it. I didn't experience it from an end of, being placed.
Celebrity.
Yeah, I'm a celebrity, and individuals saying, yo, can you sign this for my kids? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So my prison experience was real. I had a chance to meet a lot of great dudes that was from all over the world, and that's one of the biggest differences I would say within the state and the federal, is that you meet all these different people from everywhere, and the state is kind of mostly locally wherever you're from, and they'll move you around wherever. You might be in Mississippi for a year, California the next year. It just depends, you know what I'm saying, exactly, how they choose to move you around. And did that time, got out.
At the end of the day, Young Buck's journey is a powerful reminder that anybody can rise from the ashes, but it's never as simple as it seems. Look, we've all seen artists and celebrities crash and burn, but what sets somebody like Young Buck apart is his willingness to face those mistakes head on, no matter how messy the situation got. Sure, the back and forth with 50 Cent, the bankruptcy, the IRS battles, those are headlines that follow you for life. But the fact that Young Buck is still standing, still trying to make it right, that shows a lot of character. It's easy to look at somebody like Young Buck and think, oh, that's just another celebrity caught up in money problems. But as we saw, it's not just about the money, it's about the growth. And I think that's something we all can relate to. We all make mistakes, sometimes big ones, and it can feel like the world is crumbling. But what matters most is how you come back from it. Young Buck is showing us that no matter how low you hit, there's always a way up if you're willing to learn and put in the work. Now I think the real takeaway here is how we manage our business relationships. The fact that 50 Cent stepped in and helped Buck out, whether it was a loan or not, shows that sometimes it's about looking out for people you care about. Now on the flip side, if you're a young artist or entrepreneur, the key lesson here is learning your business. Don't let other people dictate your future without understanding what's at stake. But honestly, seeing Buck try to clear that debt step by step, it's inspiring. So what do y'all think? Do you think young Buck is finally getting his financial life back on track, or is it just a temporary fix? And how important do you think it is for young artists to understand the business side of their careers? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.